What's up, people? It's your girl Adeola. So, about 50 African leaders came running to Washington DC this past week when Obama said come. Now, a lot of people are saying that that's wonderful. They said, oh, Africa is rising. And then some people are upset. They said, when will this African men learn? Obama is a president just like you. He doesn't have two heads, and he's even younger than most of these African leaders. The reason Obama can say come is because Obama has been taking care of business in his own country, making sure that America remains one of the most advanced countries in the whole world. Why don't they think about developing African countries as well? You know, I'm very gentle. I cannot, say these things that people are saying, but I look at it in two ways. First of all, African leaders who have the interest of their people in mind, those ones who go back and make use of the investment resources provided during the summit. You know, the US pledged $33 billion to invest in Africa. That would create a lot of jobs and investment opportunities if they use it. You get what I'm saying? Now, my other way of looking at it is that most of these African leaders, they don't care about their people and they will not do anything tangible for their people, even if Obama invites them every month. You know, as a matter of fact, the $33 billion promised by the US is just another opportunity for many of these leaders to steal more money. We know that they have more than $33 billion in their Swiss account. No be so, as of 2010, Nigeria alone has laundered more than $500 billion. And to be honest with you guys, I don't think that the summit is in the interest of Africans. I think that it's more about protecting America's interest in Africa, trying to woo Africans from China, because China has been investing in Africa big time. Who's building the Ebola dam in the Republic of Congo? China. Who's constructing those high-rise buildings in Algeria? China. Who owns one of the largest farms in Zambia? Who are the people mining gold illegally in Ghana? Chinese people. Ghana recently deported thousands of them. And all the money that Nigeria has been borrowing, billions of dollars, has been coming from where? China. The train that they are constructing in Abuja, who is building it? Chinese people. In fact, they wrote stuff in Chinese language on that locomotive, remember? Chinese people are everywhere in Africa. Now we are learning Chinese in African schools. No be so? The AU building in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, the headquarters of African Union, was built and donated to Africa by who? China. So to me, America sees that hey, China is winning the heart of Africans, so we have to do something. In my opinion, this is not about helping the people of Africa. No. If it is, why would Obama have dictators in the White House, eating and whining, hanging out with them for days? Paul Biya of Cameroon was here with his madam. You know, I like the way Washington Post put it, First Lady of Cameroon and her hair have arrived. If the summit is in the interest of Cameroonians, he would have had that man arrested, because Cameroonians were protesting while the summit was going on. More than 30 years in power, and he set Cameroon back decades. 81-year-old man, and he has refused to leave the throne. Yahya Jammeh of Gambia was also there. How can that be in the interest of Gambians when the man just celebrated his 20th year of killing people who challenge his power and looting the economy of Gambia? As a matter of fact, Gambians also came to protest while the summit was going on. And guess what? His security guys beat up protesters right in Washington DC, including Fatou Camara, you know, the female TV presenter that was arrested in Gambia and jailed before she fled to the US. That woman tried to ask Jammeh a question. They beat her up and other protesters.
What's much more painful than her concussion is that her attackers are in the wind, allegedly given immunity.
I thought that in America, nothing like this could happen.
Fatou Camara says she escaped a Gambian prison to become an outspoken radio host here in the States, but Camara says when she tried posing questions to Gambia's president Yahya Jammeh outside the Hay Adams Hotel, she claims his security detail rained down punches and kicks.
They were kicking my head.
Gambian exiles say Jammeh's Principal Protection Team, or the PPO, were ruthless.
He hit me. He had a brace knuckle on his hand. I saw it.
Exiles say Jammeh is a dictator who's ruled the nation for 2 decades with an iron fist, and that Camara is exposing his deeds here in the States.
The president's motorcade just came up, and just in a split second, they all ran out. They were after the journalist. Her name is Fatou Camara.
ABC 7 cameras were rolling, capturing this attack by protesters Tuesday. Yesterday, a delegation from the Congo was accused of a similar attack outside the Capella Hotel. Camara was raced to Sibley Hospital following her attack.
You see what I'm saying? If they want to help Gambians, just arrest that dictator. Arrest him now. I was so glad when I heard that one of the diplomats that beat up this journalist, this female journalist, had been deported. Unfortunately for Jermaine, the hotel where he was staying said, "Mr. Man, you have to leave. There is violence because you are staying in our hotel." So they kicked him out. So he went and stayed at his multi-million-dollar house in Potomac. And of course, Joseph Kabila of Congo was there. You know, this man has stolen more than $5 billion that was meant for the development of his country. He ran a child army for his father before he became president. And he has ordered the death of so many activists. More than 5.4 million Congolese people have died. Many of them are now living in other countries. Shouldn't he be arrested if the summit is for the benefit of Congolese people? His security guys also beat up Congolese protesters in Washington, D.C. You know, Congolese people came to protest. This is one of the protesters that was beat up. Yeah, he's not a soldier, by the way. He was just wearing that khaki. He was protesting when Congolese security guys beat him up. I was there in Washington, D.C. I saw so many Africans from different countries who came to protest against their leaders. Ethiopians were there protesting the fact that they've arrested so many activists in Ethiopia, and so many journalists have been arrested as well. And they also protested the killing of Oromo people, among so many other things.
Hundreds of Ethiopians stood together chanting for change they'd like to see in their home country.
We want justice! We want justice!
I met people from Burkina Faso, from Ivory Coast protesting. Of course, Nigerians protested against Goodluck Jonathan for not doing anything tangible about our missing girls. It's been 4 months, so Nigerians protested. Can you believe the man brought 78 delegates, 78 to Washington? Wait, what happened? My oga, where is Madam Patience now? Now only you waka come. Hey, that is God, though. Anyway, why do you think that everybody is interested in Africa? You can Google it. Africa is the richest continent. When it comes to natural resources, mineral resources, every kind of resource you can think of is in Africa. There is no African country that does not have multiple natural resources. None. But of course, all our leaders see is the oil because it is quick money, so they refuse to develop our other resources. Do you know that we have gold in many Nigerian states? There is gold in Ogun State, Abia, Bauchi, Ebonyi, Kaduna, Kebbi, Oyo State, Kwara State, and so on and so forth. That is just the gold, though. We have coal, bauxite, zinc, cotton, gemstone, limestone, coal, clay, iron ore, marble, and so on and so forth. That is not even half of the natural resources that Nigeria has, besides the oil. As I'm speaking to you, foreigners are in Nigeria. Chinese people are there. Lebanese people, Germans, Indians, Americans, Europeans digging out resources out of Nigeria, bribing our officials, using Nigerians as slave laborers. Go and see them packed inside those big trucks by Julius Berger in Abuja. Nobody is saying anything. Using us as slaves in our own country and polluting our land. They take oil from Nigeria. They never have to queue for oil in their own countries. Not only do we queue for oil in our own country, we produce oil, but we have to pay ridiculous amounts just to buy oil. I mean, don't even get me started. That is just Nigeria. Do you want me to tell you about the Congo? The Congo is one of the world's richest countries when it comes to natural resources. One of the world's richest. You know, the Great Congo River, which is the most powerful river in all of Africa. That river alone can generate electricity for all households in sub-Sahara Africa. We're talking about 50 countries. Yebo. More than 5.4 million people have been killed as of 2008. They keep sponsoring the war while they continue to take out resources out of Congo. You know, coltan, which Western countries and Asian countries use to make cell phones and laptops, is from Congo. Ideally, you know, Congo should be the center of cell phones and laptop manufacture in the whole world. Call it the world. Have you ever heard about African-made cell phone or laptops that were made in Africa? Made in Nigeria laptop, made in Congo cell phone. In fact, I know some of you that will not buy it if they say made in Nigeria. It's very sad. Look at the common people who are suffering day and night. As far back as I can remember, the richest continent when it comes to natural resources has remained the poorest continent despite all the foreign aid. So when would they realize that there is no free help? Someone doesn't just pledge to give you $33 billion without expecting something of more value in return. I mean, I'm not saying that we should not collaborate with the US, but I'm saying that the solution to poverty in Africa is not in collecting more aid, it is in developing what we have, which means that we would have to build structures like good roads, electricity, water, better hospitals, you know, if we want to really develop our resources. Nigerian president spent days in DC driving on good roads. He noticed that they did not use generator to power that summit. And you know, this is not his first time in the US. In fact, he travels out every 2 weeks. Yet our roads are filled with potholes. We still don't have stable electricity. Some of you are watching me with generator if you are watching from Nigeria. So how am I supposed to believe that he's coming to DC last week would now change the lives of common people in Nigeria? Huh? Seriously? If the US is really trying to help Africans, they should start by shaming those leaders who do not care about their people, not by inviting them to the White House. Many of them are criminals, vagabonds, embezzlers. Huh? By now you guys can tell that I don't know anything. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. So Ebola continues to claim lives. I learned that people are leaving dead bodies on the street in Liberia. It's so sad and so unfortunate. About 10 people have been confirmed in Nigeria. Like 100 and something people are being monitored closely because they are displaying symptoms of this Ebola. By the way, since we don't have hospitals of international standard in Nigeria, for example, what happens if a rich person contracts Ebola? Now that they won't allow them to fly, what will they do? Hey, che. Meanwhile, some Nigerians are trying to make money off of this tragedy. Can you imagine manufacturing and selling what they are calling Ebola hand sanitizers? See, my people, they said this thing will kill 99.9% of Ebola germs, and people are already buying it like crazy. Not only that, somebody sent out a text message that the Ministry of Health has asked everyone to bathe with salt and warm water, and that they should also drink some of that water. You won't believe Nigerians, they started sending that text message left and right, calling all their loved ones, even in the middle of the night. Hello, Akim, go and take a shower right now as I'm speaking. Make sure you put salt. Put all the salt you have in your house. Put it in the water. Guess what? The lady that started the rumor came out to apologize that she made it up as a joke. Unfortunately for her, it's too late. At least 2 people have already died from consuming too much salt. And not only that, about 20 others have been admitted to the hospital in Jos. The US flew their own citizens out of Liberia after 2 of them contracted the disease. They sent planes to go and carry them home. You see, the first thing African leaders need to learn how to do is to cherish the lives of their citizens. These were not big people in America. These were missionary doctors that went to Liberia on their own to help sick people. In fact, America has already developed the cure for Ebola, and they used it to treat their own citizens. Nigeria asked for it. They said, no, abeg, we are still researching. Instead of us asking, why don't we do our own research? We have great doctors in Nigeria. We have great African doctors in so many countries. Isn't it possible for us to come up with a cure with all the herbs and minerals that we have in Africa? Guess what? Japan has also developed their own cure for Ebola. So it is not only America that can develop this thing. We just need to do our own research and come up with something. Anyway, no need to worry anymore in Africa, because Nigerian prophet TB Joshua has already announced that he's ready to send 2,000 bottles of holy water to Liberia and other countries that have been affected.
Because I was foreseeing what is coming. I stand here to say, each country this affected, I'm going to donate 2,000 anointing water. Not only that, if they invite me at the capacity of government, I will not only send the anointing water, I will carry anointing water myself to the country. I trust the anointing water.
Why are some of you laughing? You see, this is what I don't like. Oh, why are you laughing now? You sound like you don't believe in the holy water. Hey, Kai, God will forgive all of you. I give kudos to the man of God. At least he's trying. He's reaching out to the sick. We have a lot of men of God that have not done anything about this Ebola thing. All I would like to say though is,
I trust the anointing water.
Please always put your trust in God and God alone, not in any water or oil. I'm not discrediting what the prophet is doing. I beg, God forbid, to fear. By the way, a lot of Nigerians are going for crusades and, you know, big gathering. It's great. I go to things like that, you know. But with Ebola spreading like this, in my opinion, it's wise right now not to go to where there are too many people, especially people that have been traveling, because you don't know who is bringing something from somewhere. And prevention is better than cure. Say hi to people from afar if you must go. If you cannot stay away from shaking people's hands, at least dress like this man. Wherever you go, cover yourself from head to toe. God will still hear your prayers. Anyway, you guys know I don't know much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. So I was very embarrassed as a Nigerian this week when I heard that about 300 Nigerian students in Ukraine and Russia, those that were awarded scholarships by the Nigerian government, have turned to beggars. Apparently, the Nigerian government has not paid their tuition or their stipend in 8 months. Some of them have not even been paid in 14 months. That is more than a year. Can you imagine? Among them are some Bayelsa students who made a video begging the Nigerian government to remember them.
Also like to express a concern the non-payment of our stipend and all of our allowances, including our school fees, which has not been paid for the past semester. We've not been paid our stipend for the past 14 months now, and we've tried all that we can to reach the Bayelsa government. In this time of our struggles, we heard of the new scholarship scheme which they have sent.
You see, don't think for a minute that the money is not part of the budget. No. Somebody somewhere, somebody in Abuja is sitting on that money right now. How embarrassing that Nigerian students have to be begging and borrowing money from other African students for the past 8 months, and for some of them for the past 14 months. Some of them that are sick have not been able to afford good treatment, and many of them have been told to pack out of their apartment and out of their hostels because they cannot pay. And of course, they are not allowed to work on student visa. So what exactly do they want these students to do? So if anybody knows somebody that knows someone that knows somebody in the Nigerian government, especially in the scholarship board, I beg, tell them the Nigerian students are suffering in Russia and in Ukraine. Tell them the Nigerians are watching them. You better do something. What a shame. Nigerian government, wake up now. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. So I heard about an Ethiopian man recently, and his story has changed the way I look at everything that I call problems. Hey, I know that I've shared his video on my Facebook fan page, but in case you're discouraged today about some problems or because of a disability, please meet Sintayewu Tishale and let his story inspire you.
ባይምሮ ይይዛለሁ ከየትም ስዞር አያዋለሁ ያየሁትን ነገር ይሄን ነገር አደርጋለሁ ብዬ ባስብ ምናልባት አልሆንልኝ ብሎ ቢዘገይ 2 ወር ወይ 1 ወር ቢዘገይ መሮ በለቀቁት ወሮሮ እንደሚመታ ማለት አስቸጋሪ ከዚህ በፊት ትልቅ ቶርኖ ላይ ተቀን ነበር ምንድነው የሚለው የኔ እጅ እንኳን ይሄን መስራት አይደለም ምንም አያደርግም እሱ ግን በእግሩ ይሰራል ሲሉ ምን ማለታቸው ነው እጃቸውን እንደገና እንደዚህ ብሎ የራሳቸውን ያቆሽሻሉ በየ ለኔ በጣም ትልቅ ደስታ ይሰማኛል አንድም ሌላ ቀን ስንገናኝ ደግሞ ያንተ ነገር ምንም ማትሆን ይዘላለም ማስተዋሻ ነው ይላል
Wow! I think that his name should have been spelled amazing. Hopefully, you don't just watch this show for politics. I want you to be inspired that in life, the limitation is only where you put it. So long as you have life, so long as you have breath, anything is possible. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. Before I read emails today, a viewer by the name Ronti Alore sent me information about a 26-year-old beautiful lady in Nigeria. Her name is Yomade Balogun. She's a graduate of Obafemi Awolowo University. Yomade is a fashion designer and she has her own design company after she graduated. The name of the design company is Adeola Clothing and Accessories. Unfortunately, this beautiful lady has been battling kidney disease for the past 8 years and now she's bedridden. She needs a kidney transplant like as soon as possible. Now they're trying to raise 9 million naira. That's about $55,000 for her treatment. I spoke with one of the people in charge of the donations and he told me that they've raised about 3 million naira. So they need to raise 6 million naira. So please, if any of you is interested in knowing more about Yomade and her condition, you can contact her sister through this number or you can call Deji Olukokun. He's the president of the club that has been taking care of this lady. So please call them for update, and if you're willing to donate, this is not a scam. I spoke with DJ already. This is the account information. Please feel free to donate, small or big, it doesn't matter. Please don't hesitate to help. Our first email today is from Mike Mamuzo, and he says, "Hi Adeola, Ebola threatens. Where will Nigerians, big men and women travel to for private treatment? That's exactly what I talked about in today's show. I hope they would learn a lesson to build standard hospitals in Nigeria. And you are absolutely right, my brother. Instead of building us good hospital, our leaders, they prefer to go and get treated abroad. Now Ebola is in Nigeria. Who's going to take Ebola patient? It's such a shame. Our next email is from Jide Ojo, and he says, "Hi Adeola, I'm responding to the email by Binet Jobe, the lady from Gambia. I read her email about 2 weeks ago. She was asking where Nigerian celebrities are. Why are they not singing about the Chibok girls that were kidnapped by Boko Haram?" So he says that, well, the fact is that many of them are government officials' handbags, which they take along with them everywhere they go. Some of them are always having buffet and begging for money. The few that protested only had cosmetic protest, which I believe was sponsored by the government. If they really protest, the gates of the state houses will be shut against them, and all those goodies will no longer be there for them. Wow, you are absolutely right. I couldn't put it in a better way. Thank you so much for that email, Mr. Jide Ojo. I really appreciate it. Lastly, a very generous viewer of Keeping It Real by the name Yale Oboyale sent me a link of free universities and colleges in Europe, and he wants me to share it with you guys. I was like, how nice of him. How nice. So I decided to add to the list. I was like, hey, why not add the list of free schools in the US? At least I know about 10 of them. So I decided to compile a list of free schools in different countries, universities and colleges, and these are really good schools, by the way. You just have to be able to provide for your living expenses. If you know someone that is looking into studying abroad and they don't have enough cash, or maybe it's you that is trying to study abroad, make sure that you check out the list. Here is the link. You can find it on my blog. Special thank you again to Mr. Yale Oboyale for sending it to me. Well guys, that's all the time that I have for emails today. Please keep sending your emails to adeola.keepingitreal@gmail.com. Alright y'all, it's been real and I'm keeping it real right up in here. Until next week, I'm gonna see y'all later. Peace out.